big, huge roller coaster, that everything seems a little bit out of control. And I want to give you a platform for 1 hour where you could really set the record straight in perhaps a slightly more controlled environment, and we get to the bottom of this incredible crisis which has unfurled with your show, with CBS, and with you in your life.
Sure.
And, you know, I want you to say whatever you want to say. You know, I just want to get to the bottom. I want to get away from the craziness.
Yeah, of course.
And I want to get...
I didn't bring any craziness, don't worry.
I want to get a sense of what has really been going on here,
sure.
and your take on it.
It's been a tsunami of media, and I've been riding it on a Mercury surfboard. Right off the bat, sorry. But it's no. I'm on a mission right now. It's an operation actually to right some terrible wrongs, because there's been some things that have happened as a result of of rehab or crisis management, and the show's temporary suspension thus far, and I just think it's important that people hear the truth and hear it from me, because I'm at the dead epicenter of every single moment that's been going on in this thing. Yeah.
Here's the weird thing. In Hollywood, normally a show gets cancelled or suspended when ratings fall, or it's just not working out. In this case, you're at the top of your game. You are, right now, until a few days ago, the highest paid star on television in America, and therefore the world. The number one. The show has been ripping up the ratings. Yeah. There is no sensible reason why this show has been suspended, maybe cancelled.
Sure.
It's all about you and your private life. And there are two schools of thought. Half the people I talk to say Charlie should behave better. It doesn't reflect well on him and CBS to behave in this way. My view, for what it's worth, and I said this to you when I talked to you this morning.
It's worth a lot.
My view is, I think you're entitled to behave how the hell you like. As long as you don't, in the old-fashioned sense, scare the horses and the children, and you turn up to work on time and you do your job in a professional way, which clearly the ratings suggest you were. I don't really get what the problem's been here. Obviously I know what your view would be, but articulate why you think this is completely wrong.
Well, I mean, I can sort of understand why they felt like they had to intervene when they did. You know, it was, I think it was a Tuesday, it was during a week off, and things had been a little sideways, I'll admit that. Yeah, I was running it, burning it at both ends, and, you know, I'm not going to say it wasn't epic and I wasn't having a ball, and all those around me weren't completely enjoying the show. And yeah, we're on a rocket ship to the moon some nights, but if you do the crime, you got to do the time. So, you know, if you're an amateur and you can't show up for work or hit your marks or deliver your dialogue and do comedy when you're sideways, then it's all a different ballgame. But I am, and that's never been an issue. So it was during a week off. They rolled in and said, okay, you got to shut it down. And I said, okay, I get it. You've seen me as being unprepared. And so,
did you ever feel, I mean, listen, you've talked this week about having benders that would put Keith Richards and Sinatra to shame, which I thought was pretty spectacular claim, Charlie. Well, that's one hell of a bender. But again, I would reserve your right to lead your life how the hell you like. The big question, it seems to me, in terms of your contractual obligation to CBS, is did you turn up on the set late? Were you badly behaved on the set? Did you let people down? Were you unprofessional?
Well, I was late a couple days when we were just practicing, when it was just rehearsal. I never cost the production or the show or the studio or the network any money as far as missing a show or missing a day. That was a money day. There's 2 money days during the week, and I've never missed one. Well, there's been a couple days where I had to pull the audience just because of personal stuff or divorce or divorce, and so, you know, like that. But I just never really understood what the big deal about, you know, missing a day of practice, because I know, you know, do 177 shows. Not to promote being on autopilot, but you know, some of us are just better equipped to work in that headspace, you know. But yeah, they said I got too thin. They said I was too thin, and the year before they said I was a little bloated. So I was bloated and tanned, but thin and white. So I thought if I could mix maybe thin with tan, that bloated and white would go away. You know,
yeah,
it was sort of a color reveal. Yes,
a bit hybrid.
Yes. So
too bloated and too white.
So I was skinny and tanning, mental tanning. But anyway, so they started putting me in a fishbowl. And every Friday night, it turned into the big executive kind of in the corner, hush hush dialogue, whispered dialogue about my condition, and it was a really hard situation to work in. You know, I felt really kind of weird. It felt creepy. It felt like I was being, I don't know, it felt like an intrusion, because I feel like when I step between the lines, that's the time I get to be free. You know, I can do all the rehearsing, all the practicing, all that stuff, and you know, go through the motions, and give them a sense of what it's going to look like. But when I get between the lines, when it's time to play ball, that's when I feel free.
I mean, you're a smart businessman. Well, you are. You make a lot of money. You make, was it $1.8 million a show?
I save any.
You know what?
Whatever.
You can spend it how you like, Charlie.
Schmabe.
Yeah, but look, in terms of business, you understand how this works.
Sure.
I guess from CBS's point of view, the stories about your behaviour,
right,
as they began to accelerate, they're getting advertisers screaming at them saying, this is not the fit we want for this show.
Did any advertisers actually pull off? I'm just curious.
Do you know if they did?
Did we lose Gillette, Target, Walmart, Volvo?
What is the answer to that?
I don't know. Maybe you have.
I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer.
I didn't do that research.
But did you hear that that was the case?
I heard threats of it. Yeah, which to me felt like, okay, that could be real. It could be just you know, just an empty threat. I don't know.
Would you accept if that was the case, that your behaviour then had to be moderated?
Absolutely, because then it's now we're into commerce. Right. Now we're into the money. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Did anybody at CBS tell you before they suspended you? Were there repeated warnings as they're trying to suggest to people?
There was one.
That if you carried on behaving in this manner and it got into the papers, you would be in big trouble.
There was one, but it wasn't delivered in a way that was, there was a threat. Les Moonves came to my house, and we had a very lovely chat at my kitchen table, and he said, look.
He's the boss of CBS.
Yeah, he said, just try to pull it back a little bit and just maybe get back below the radar. You know, and he was asking me to maybe locate a gear I haven't quite been too familiar with, you know, and I said, no problem, boss, no problem. Then the thing with the hernia and whatever else, it was like the hernia heard around the world, you know, and it was a real hernia.
So, but Les Moonves, to be fair to him, he did warn you in a friendly way. Would it be fair to say you didn't heed that warning?
Well, my hernia didn't heed that warning. I mean, come on, let's talk the facts, you know.
You're not going to blame your hernia for it.
No. I'll own that. Yeah, and I guess I wound up in a hospital, whatever. Anyway.
But is it a whatever? My point, I guess, from their point of view, is they've given you a warning. He's the boss of the network.
Good point.
And he's saying...
I'll own that, sure. Yeah.
He's got a valid point then afterwards to say, Charlie, we had a deal. You looked me in the eye and you said, I'm not going to behave like this.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so yeah. So I was actually... I was actually grateful when they came in, because it was during a week off, during the hiatus week, and you know, I was actually looking forward to maybe shutting this down, maybe looking for something else. It was getting a little boring, as I've said in a few of these other pieces. It just didn't have the same feeling, the same kind of traction that it had the previous 8 months, whatever. I overshot the mark. Literally woke up and it was Christmas. What are you gonna do? Didn't buy any gifts either. So yeah, and you know, it was during the week when that was sort of already the headspace. So when they rolled in, I went, I get it. Okay, I'm grateful. I can do this. But I said, look, guys, here's the thing. I can't do this for too long, because I will heal very fast. And they're saying, well, we're talking about 6 weeks. I'm like, no, I'll heal in 1 or 10 days or whatever. And he said, well, okay, but we're thinking at least a month. I said, whatever, that's fine. The funny thing was that he said that the Warner jet is on the runway and you're going to Utah. And I looked at my manager and I said, hey, the first time I got the jet, right on, guys. So I agreed to shut it down. And then, as promised, I healed really fast. I said, guys, I'm ready to go back to work. And
you base that healing claim on previous experience?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been, you know, a veteran of these wars, a veteran of the unspeakable at times. And so... yeah, I just knew how to do it, and what I didn't know was going to happen was this epiphanous sort of re-energized awakening with a whole new set of powers, a whole new set of focus.
But do you believe there's a slight hypocrisy here in the sense we're in Hollywood?
Right.
If you were in a rock band in Hollywood, this kind of behaviour would be not only accepted, it would be encouraged because it's part of the brand of the rock band. Right. You know, you seem to be leading a rock star life, and if you were Keith Richards or Mick Jagger, no one would bat an eyelid. Right. It's the fact that you're in a network show,
sure,
which carries with it. I mean, do you accept it carries responsibilities which are different?
Absolutely it does. Yeah.
So do you believe when you're being critical of yourself, Charlie? And this is, I suppose, a key part of this. When you look at your own behaviour, do you feel slightly ashamed by some of it? Do you wish you hadn't gone down certain pathways in the last few months?
I think it's a waste of time because I can't change it. You know, I tell people that are sort of, you know, glued to their past, if you can walk back there and bring me a souvenir from that moment when your father locked you in the closet, then bring it to me. Bring me the ashtray from his office with that burning Swisher Sweet in it. You can't. The moment's over. It doesn't exist. We got to get into right here, right now. You know, and so...
if Les Moonves was sitting here...
Yeah.
Based on what you've told me, that he came to your house, and he asked you to behave,
Sure.
and then you accept you didn't, would you apologise for not behaving after that conversation?
Yes, and then I would ask him, why did you lie to me about the crew in front of Mark Berg and Oren Koulis, my management team?
What was that?
When I said, guys, I don't want to be gone too long. I can't be gone too long because I'm worried about the crew. They've got families, they've got mortgages, they've got lives that are check to check, you know? And he said, don't worry about the crew. You have our word, him and his partner Bruce, you know? And then it was just until... actually today, just a few hours ago, that we caught wind that they agreed to pay the crew for 4 episodes. That's okay, it's a start. I'm not stopping until they give them 8. Then I'm going to work on my cast, then I'm going to finish with me.
Do you feel guilty about the impact your particular situation's had on the rest of the crew?
Well, I feel guilty. The perception of it has been that I'm the guy to blame for all of it, you know, because no one was in Sober Valley Lodge. No one was in these situations or in the middle of this scenario that I was. So nobody had the facts, and that's what I stand on. And that's what fuels me is the truth.
Has Les Moonves tried to call you?
Nobody's tried to call me.
Nobody at all?
No one's tried to call me. In fact, we're live, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't wear a suit or anything. Time issue. Yeah, I would urge Les or Bruce or Chuck Lorre or anyone to call in while we're here.
Hmm?
I mean, if, you know...
Well, if anyone at CBS wants to call in.
Chuck has not answered the questions that I asked with Jeff Rawson, who's awesome, by the way, that guy. You should have him on. I don't know why, but just have him on. He's awesome.
He's a rival.
Whatever. Everybody wins.
Professional rival.
I know. Well,
no, but I mean, actually, to be serious, if anybody at CBS, Les Moonves or anybody else is watching this, and I'd imagine it would have been made aware of it now, I would encourage them to call in, because it seems to me what's broken down here as well. And
there's no communication.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this isn't about me like, oh, until I get an apology, I'm not dealing. No, until like some conversations take place that involve compensation for the 8 shows that we were slated to do. Because when I came back and said, guys, okay, now I'm prepared, and Les had just that Mr. Chow's called me his cleanup hitter. And now you got your cleanup hitter, and it's late August, and I'm sitting on 64 bombs at 420 and 170 driven in, and we're not even in the playoffs yet, you know, and so. I'm sitting there, and the team bus is driving away. There's a tarp over the infield. There's like, I got no team to play for, you know? So I became very prepared and focused and driven and hungry and in shape and a new tattoo and like, let's do this, right? And so Chuck Lorre told me, well, there's no scripts. So I said, there's no scripts. Okay, wait a minute. You're a writer. I need, cameras and a stage to act. You need, I don't know, a piece of paper and a bic. There's no scripts. So where were the scripts going to be if, in fact, we hadn't shut down? This basically turned into a 2-week hiatus.
Do you think...
Where were the scripts, Chuck? Where are the scripts?
Let me ask you, Joe. Do you believe that there was a subliminal plot at CBS that they wanted to get rid of you?
Wow. You mean like a conspiracy?
Possibly.
Damn, we should probably go to a commercial.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, actually, that's a good point.
I don't know.
Let's go to a commercial.
No, I don't think so.
Let's go to a commercial.
Yeah.
Think about the answer to that question, because I think it's quite interesting.
Right on.